everyone, my name is Alex from Ernest Alex Reads, and this video is going to be my N.E.W.T Magical Readathon wrap-up. I vlogged the first 3 weeks of this readathon, so I'm gonna link all of those videos down below. The last week and a half of August, I severely underestimated how much I had to do. And my ability to film everything. So there is no week 4, there is no vlog for that, but a lot of stuff has happened. So I thought I would just go over a slight little life update and then go through all of the books that I read in August for the N.E.W.Ts Magical Readathon. So first things first, I finished my bachelor's degree. For the past 3 years, I've been studying social work and management here in Germany, and in August I finished it. On the 20th of August, I did my last thing, I defended my thesis, and now I'm officially done, and I'm really proud of myself because it was all in a foreign language, and I finally finished. I also got my mind medic in the N.E.W.Ts Magical Readathons, so that means I can be a social worker in real life now and in the magical world. That's a nice coincidence that that happened basically at the same time. My parents came over from America to visit me. I went to Switzerland, to Zurich for the first time, and so that was really nice. And then I got married. So now I'm married. We had a very, very small ceremony, and it was really nice, and that happened. So yeah, that's my life update. I didn't film anything. There was a lot of real world stuff going on, so yeah, I don't know how to transition this into reading. But like I said, I got my mind medic. In week 3, I mentioned that I was on the cusp of a reading slump. I think I'm still there. I completed 16 books in the month of August. 10 of those were in the first 10 days of August, and then 6 in the last 2.5 weeks of August. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm gonna try really hard not to get into a reading slump, but if you have any tips, leave them down below, because I might need them. So yeah, now I'm just gonna go through the books that I read in the month of August, and what prompt they fulfill. I think I'm gonna go through by subject because that's how I organize my stack. I think I explained my thoughts on a lot of these in my reading vlog, so I'm just gonna do rating because 16 books is so many books. Okay, let's start with the subject of charms. There are 3 books that I had to read for the subject of charms. One was the acceptable grade, and that is, sorry, I'm just looking at my notes because I keep forgetting all the prompts. So, if I look down, it's because I'm reading the prompts. For the subject of charms, I read 3 books. For the acceptable prompt, that was to read a book with a gorgeous cover, and I read All My Puny Sorrows by N.E.W.Ts. I gave this book 4 stars. For the grade exceeds expectations in charms, the prompt was to read a graphic novel, and I read On a Sunbeam by Tilly Walden. I gave this book 5 stars. The prompt for the grade outstanding for the subject of charms was to read a paperback book, and I read Behold the Dreamers by Mbola Umbe. I gave this book 4 stars. Now on to Defense Against the Dark Arts. The acceptable grade for Defense Against the Dark Arts was to read a book with a black dust jacket, and I picked up Little by Edward Carey. I gave this book 4 stars as well. The exceeds expectations prompt for Defense Against the Dark Arts was to read the first book that you remember from your TBR, and I read Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. I gave this book 5 stars. And lastly, the outstanding prompt for Defense Against the Dark Arts was to read a book either set in England or by an English author, and I picked up the illustrated edition of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I gave this book 5 stars. No surprises there. Now onto the subject of Muggle Studies. The acceptable grade for the subject of Muggle Studies was to read a book with an actual photo element in the cover, and I picked up Improvement by Joan Silver. I gave this book 4 stars. The Exceeds Expectations prompt for Muggle Studies was to read a book set in our real world, so a contemporary, and I picked up Love from A to Z by S.K. Ali. I also gave this book 4 stars. The Outstanding prompt for Muggle Studies was to read a book by a author of color, and I picked up Queenie by Candace Carty-Williams. I gave this book 3 stars. Now onto the subject of potions. The acceptable prompt for potions was to read your best friend's favorite book, and I read Youth, a Narrative by Joseph Conrad. I gave this book 3 stars. The Exceeds Expectations prompt for potions was to read a book with your house colors on it. I am in Ravenclaw, and I picked up Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. I gave this book 3 stars. And the outstanding prompt for the subject of potions is to read a book with a prologue, and I picked up Harry Potter, A History of Magic from the British Library, and I gave this book 3 stars as well. The last subject is Transfigurations, and the acceptable prompt for this subject was to read a book with LGBTQIA+ representation, and I picked Tell Me How You Really Feel by Amina May Safi. I gave this book 5 stars! It is my runaway favorite book that I read this month. The Exceeds Expectations prompt for Transfiguration was to read a sequel, or not the first in the series. And I picked up Holy Sister by Mark Lawrence. I gave this book 3 stars. And the outstanding prompt for the subject of Transfiguration was to read a book with 500 or more pages. I picked up the 10th anniversary edition of American Gods by Neil Gaiman. I ended up giving this book 2 stars, which surprised me, but I was not into it. I was really not feeling it, and I struggled to get through it. But I finished it, so I got the grade outstanding in 5 subjects. That is a little above and beyond the requirements for a mind medic, but I would hope that if I was at Hogwarts, I would get such good grades. So I'm very happy that I read all of these books. Oh wait, I have one more book. I totally forgot a book. I also read The Hike by Drew Magary. This actually fulfills the acceptable prompt in your arithmancy, which I didn't have to do, but I read it anyway, and I'm counting it as like a little bonus book. I gave this book 3 stars. Okay, so now, those are the 16 books that I read. I really, really love this readathon. I love the owls. I love the N.E.W.Ts. I love how complex it is and how much organization you need. I hope it continues. I hope I can do it next year. I really enjoyed it, and yeah. So that was my N.E.W.Ts Magical Readathon. I hope you enjoyed my videos documenting my reading experience during this readathon, or just this wrap up. Yeah. That's it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you are having a great day and you're reading a great book, and I will see you in my next video.